What's up, people? Oh my god, is this a blank page? Do we have a blank page in front of us? Welcome to SketchCraft Live! No, it's not a blank page. This is the ToeJam and Earl lines that I did. Well, sort of. This is the ToeJam and Earl lines that I drew. I have scanned them in and removed all of the red. Ooh, loses a little bit, right? But I'm going to use this red as a color guide, a lighting guide, so it's not a total waste. And then what I'm going to do is turn the opacity down and digitally, with the computers, ink this thing. That's the goal. When I say ink, I mean in the loosest term, like basically redraw it, right? So that's kind of the idea. Anyhow, chat room is open. Brandon will be in eventually. And I'll be working for at least an hour or so, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll come back and continue to work and try to get this done ASAP, because I'm behind. I've been moving to Idaho, so it's been a little bit busy around here. Not so busy on the stream, right? So, all right, let's get started. And we will be inking with Photoshop, the program no one likes to ink with, except me and Todd McFarlane. Do 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 do. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Connect the dots, la la la. Connect the dots, la la la. Can't help myself sometimes. Let's build that boombox next. Hey, what's up, James? Oh shit. Am I using keyboard shortcuts? Yep. Yeah, I work with the keyboard right here. I keep a tiny little mini one, and I try not to keep it too far from my arm, so I'm not leaning on it. Like I've learned to lean on my right arm while I draw. One of the many reasons why I stick with Photoshop, because I just know it. Know it pretty well. I have those too, but I save little action scripts. But there's so many like X, D, E, J, T, Control T, Control R, Control V. I mean, every little key for copy and paste is just faster. Plus, I need the arrow keys. Can switch over to the spacebar tool. So I use the Intuos keys for things like when I want to trap colors and stuff like that. Like if I wanted to turn all these red, it's just a see white red. It's just a Intuos key. Otherwise, I'd have to go Shift Control R. So then I can reset my right there. I can fill the whole layer or just fill pixels. But people should just do, whatever they're most comfortable with and then scale up as you need it, right? But I learned all the shortcut keys because some of my first jobs, all their Wacom pads back in the day, like 11 years ago, like they would all be broken half the time. So like the pens would work, but like the the tab keys and stuff wouldn't. So I had to learn. I had to learn on a Mac, then come home and use a PC all night. Think about that shit. And as I learned on the PC, I had to go back and figure it back out on the Mac. Yeah, finally. I had to go off and get this roughie done for another project, and it took 3 days, and I finally just quit. I said, I'm not your guy. I got other shit to do. They not a big fan of that decision. I started on the iPad. kind of bummer. I guess, man. It's just one of those things where I like the people, but um, you know, it just I've done enough projects that don't work out the way they should. That I have to sort of trust my instincts and go, this isn't working. Of course, then they go, oh no no no, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything. We like what you do, and I'm like, no, you don't. How can you move the rotation point? NPS. Yeah, if you want to rotate, you just got to turn on Open Glide. Let me see here. Watch me save it. I don't really use Open Glide settings, but yeah, you can go and turn on. I'm gonna have to reboot this. Yeah, see, you gotta like turn on Open Glide. I don't really like it, but I have a Cintiq, man. If I need to turn it, I can just turn the Cintiq. So, but yeah, you can. Yeah, well, when you go the like 3 days and just it started out being like a piece of artwork, and then hey, can you add a logo? And hey, can you add screens? And hey, can you add text? And hey, can you add a lot of text? Yeah, yeah, my favorite program. Yeah. Then they're like, we'll pay you more money. I'm like, no, no, it's not. It's not you. It's me. That ain't nothing. I had Jonathan. I'm gonna try to have him on the podcast this week. Before I pack up. Um, he was trying to get me to use this flatting software. It don't work out so well. He's like, you use flatting software, save you a lot of time. I'm like, that's impossible. So I made a video. I'll post those soon. It's not even like adding stuff. It's at the end of the day. Here's the thing, right? Like, man, I'll keep adding things. I think you've all seen me do that, right? I don't seem to be someone who likes to simplify the details. It's that there's two kinds of artists, well, professional artists, right? The kind that you're taking work to pay your bills, no problem. I've been there. That's my last 10 years, right? And then there's the other kind, and that's where you're only producing work that will further you as how you would like to represent yourself as an artist. Um, Generally speaking, those are gallery artists. They're not generally like comic book or freelance illustrators, but they can be. Um, and that's the phase I'm entering in now. You know, so when an artistic project comes along and starts to turn into a generic ad-based, you know, overly commercial. And when I say commercial, I don't mean something that's going to sell. I mean just cover up all the art with text, bottom of the barrel, Toys R Us ad like bullshit. I have to not be associated with that, you know, in any way, shape, or form. And so this project sort of started out super artistic and then turned into being art directed by a light bulb company, like it's really weird, man. I'll tell the story someday on the cast, when they're not like paying attention to me. Well after their product ships, so I can't be blamed. But it's hard. It's hard because the last 10 years, all my instincts have been take every job you can get. But I can't. I can't actually do that anymore. I have to. That's why you see so many art styles in my portfolio because I took anything I can get and I learned how to do a lot of different things. But if you want to be known, you have to be known for doing something really well. You can't keep doing that at some point. You know. And so that's the position I'm in. And I can't be looking at getting paid immediately today, and then climb myself out of some weird hole for the remainder of the year or two, like so. That kind of thing. It's why I don't do t-shirt art. I can make a consistent grand or two a month just taking on t-shirt freelance art, but who cares, man? Like, you know, I don't. I can't do it. You know. But yeah, that flatting software doesn't. It's cute how it works. It's basically the way those turn your raster art into vector art programs sort of work. Yeah, but I'm just don't want the trouble anymore, man. I have to spend my entire every weekend of every year of every holiday, trying to learn how to draw again. You know, just don't want to do it. I paid off my student loans, so I think at this point I can do whatever I want artistically. Yeah, I'm like I paid that off. Now I do whatever I want. You know, my wife doesn't like hearing it, but at the end of the day, what do I call it? Yeah. So, it's like that's why I watch Rounders all the time, man. That's my fucking life right there. Rounders. Just insert cars with art. So, don't, man. Do what you have to do, you know? For me, you know, if I wasn't in that situation, I'd probably just get a job at Staples. You know? That'd be my way out of art jobs. Because at least I can leave the job at work, you know? I'll go run their copy machine at fucking Staples. Come home, do whatever I want. But all those like right now, they took 3 days to choose a roughie and mix and match, and then they came with a bunch of other nonsense. And then on top of that, they're like, yeah, we need it by the end of the weekend. I'm like, it is Labor Day weekend. Well, we'll pay you more money. It is a holiday weekend. You need to go find like a 19, 20-year-old art student, you know. Yeah. I think I said, you need to find someone who doesn't care. That isn't me. Like someone who needs, I just know I'm not there anymore. I don't disrespect the people doing it. People got to earn a living. But I paid my dues. Like Jack Burton says, check is in the mail. I think I got off easy considering I went to a for-profit fucking art school that didn't teach me shit. I came by this design It's called the Design Institute of San Diego. Any of you people hear of this place? I just found it looking for, while I was looking for a mover. I actually drove by, saw some girl walking down the street. I'm like, she looks like an art student. First year. Like, I could just see the look. And her, yeah, she's walking with this little portfolio. It wasn't even the full portfolio, just drawings, under her arm. Yeah, man, that shit's physical, bro. So, so I looked these people up 'cause I happened to drive by it, and it looked like all girls going there. I'm like, oh, what are they pitching these? What design are they pitching them on? So it's for interior design. 4 years, 89 plus $1,000 for 4 years. Federal loans cover up to 25, 29,000 tops. Might be 23. I can't remember. I'm a little dyslexic. I get my threes and nines mixed up. Thank you, Devin. Even at a fixed 4% interest, which you won't get, you're looking at 102 to $120,000, depending if you defer payments. So you're looking at about $400 to $500 a month for 15 to 20 years if you pay every month. As low as maybe 380, maybe. If you do income based, if you do income based repayment, you would start off at $187 a month. But then then it ramps up. So like the last 5, 7 years of your student loans, you owe almost $1,000 a month. And their job placement, they're like, we have 90% placement. Well, I looked into it. They had 38 students graduate last year. Out of those 38, 27 got jobs. Most of them were paid $35,000 to $40,000 a year. That's six of those people. One person between the 45 to 50,000 range, and everyone below that. Like, they're never going to pay those loans off. It's crazy, bro. You know. I mean, even though I don't feel like I should be here going like, oh, it's screwing up my problem. It's a problem. It's a serious problem, man. The average student has $34,000 out of a regular university, the national average in student loan debt. These people have 89,000 for an art job, man. Jobs that consistently get sent overseas, bid to the lowest person, that require you to be in a major metropolitan area. It is never going to pay you enough to pay $1,000 a month in student loans on top of everything else. Some people will, but most won't. It's crazy. I feel for those kids. Got a little love for my arties, my crafties. Got a lot of love for my crafties. Good move. Yeah, and it screws the economy. So when people say, well, these they took the loans, they knew what they were getting into. No kid can understand what that 120 plus $1,000 for the rest of their life means. You know what I mean? Like they don't understand that. You know, I mean it's a form of debtor's prison, and yeah, it hurts the economy because these people can't buy cars or homes or anything else. You know, they're going to the banks. That's for profit. You know, I would love to get the statistic of how much of an education that they're actually getting from for profits. Like, what's the monetary value of that actual education? Like, how much do they actually spend? Thanks, David. Did they spend $5,000 total on these people? Like per student, was it like 15,000 they probably spent on them, and they're making 89? Like, what's the ratio? You know, when you add up the electricity and the student to teacher ratio, I'd love to know. Sure. As long as it's not like political and stuff, man. You know what I mean? Or religious based, because I just don't care. I've been voting ninjas for president since 1996. I just write them in. Ninjas. Yeah. So when they talk about a shadow government, that's called the ninjas I voted in. You may have heard of this shadow government. Yeah. Those are the ninjas I've been voting in since 1996. Yeah. They have black helicopters to go along with their black outfits. No one can flood the market with their stuff, man. It's too many people. I mean, DC and Marvel have all the money. They can't flood the market with their stuff, really. I mean, it's all in our heads, you know. I learned this in t-shirts. Like, you go to a store and you see all these shirts, and these are like several different companies. So what would happen is, we'd go take a shopping trip to Kohl's, and we'd be like, I'd be at a company called Mad Engine, and so let's say the competitor is called ODM Top Heavy Fifth Son. They'd be like, Fifth Son has all the SKUs on the wall. ODM is killing us. No, 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 no. They're doing all this stuff. We're not doing anything. Come to find out, they can have all the stuff in the world, but if they spent $10,000 to get, if they spent $100,000 to get, a bunch of floor space, well, they got to make all that back before they get going. So if you spend very little, you know, and sell well over what you spend, then there you go. Now, as for just filling a ton of prints up at con, I've said it before, it's not the artists that have the problem here. It's the people who put the cons together because they used to have display guidelines. You couldn't have Artist Alley was a place that had very strict, we could have one banner behind you, could only be so tall, could be so wide. You couldn't have custom dresses and stuff like that on your skirts on your tables. You have to limit display standards so that Artist Alley doesn't become Exhibitor's Alley. Now they're like a giant swap meet where they just build these giant erector set things, with things hanging all over and prints everywhere. It's not a good sign. It's not a good look for the con. It's not representing what the artist is doing. People are just going there and just hawking a bunch of prints. So, it's not a good look. But that can be solved with the convention people, just making display regulations, bringing them back. Yeah. I mean, if there weren't any regulations at all at con, exhibitors would do whatever they want to. They're held to standard. They have strict rules. They can't just build whatever, you know. So, but these cons are ran so cheaply. They're just designed to. You just want to get people in, get them on the tables, get their money, pay. They have other things to deal with. Artist Alley is not the, you know, a big financial gain for them. However, the ones that charge a lot for Artist Alley that's how they're paying for cosplayers and actors from the Flash to show up to those cons, right? So, well, stealing works a whole nother thing, man. You know, that's a different conversation. I don't think people should be stealing artwork. You know, there's a plenty of people on Etsy who just redraw Jim Lee's art, with stencils and splatter brushes, and sell buttload of prints. My thing is, I don't really care what anyone else is up to. I just focus on what I'm up to. You know, I can't, I could never control other companies in the marketplace, and I sure as shit can't control other artists, you know? So that's why I only go to one con right now. It's the Vegas con. They have an affordable rate, the size of the con is acceptable, and if it's not promoted very well, then at least we're in Vegas and I have a chance of winning my money back at the slots. You know? Yeah, try to let it go, man. There's plenty of other amateur artists. Here's my thing. People like him, they don't make it in the long term. They're just looking for a short-term hustle. You know, I worked with a guy like that once, Josh. He's like mouse and rounders. Every little thing you know, is a scam. It's just to get it rich quick. From one minute he's into stickers, the next minute he's into T-shirts, the next minute he's into pins, the next minute he's into airbrush. You know, this guy will go away too. He won't have the longevity. When they realize there's an easier way to make money doing less, they'll go do that. They'll get a 3D printer and then they'll flood the cons with toys, right? Just wait for that one. You have to carry $100 to carry more than one load in. Well, just don't go to their cons, man. You know, if you only have one load, I get what they're trying to do, but that doesn't stop anything. The people who have like 10 billion prints will just pay the money, and the people who are just there to promote themselves will stop going. But it's just a big ripoff. I'm with you. South. I think they said they're gonna move it to that west gate or whatever. So we technically won't ever have to go outside. So I did like South Point better. I'm with you on that one. That's up to them. You know. The problem is they want to continually grow these cons, and they need to just tap them out at a certain level. That's my point. Not everything needs to just continually grow. Yeah, well, I preferred South Point. Preferred it, but it's better than San Diego. I mean, look, if they screw a Vegas con, I just won't go to any cons. I did that for 3 years, you know, until something comes around. I stopped going to Wizard Worlds in 2009. Yeah, I'll never attend a Wizard World show ever. Right. Probably. They come and go, man. You know, sometimes they're awesome. I mean, I was there when San Diego was brilliant. Now it's, it, it is what it is. Then I went to Phoenix Con. That was great for a long time. And then now I do Vegas. Until that gets fucked up. It's San Diego Con's a nightmare, man. I mean, if you love being around more people than Disney, there's more people. There's less people at Disneyland. If you want my opinion, and the city can't handle. It's just not, it wasn't made for that many 100,000 people showing up somewhere. The city couldn't handle the Super Bowl, let alone Comic Con. Yeah, NYCC is just like San Diego Con. Like I said, they come and go, man. They get unmanageable. They get too big. They start making artists, essentially cover the tab for, all these crazy celebrities. Then people got to spend $1,000 just to attend as a fan. They're not going to buy anything from an artist when they're spending that kind of money, you know? I mean, when I was, the last time I ran the Game Fan booth at San Diego Con, I was right in front of the doors when you walk in. Right when you walk in. And I couldn't sell shit, man, you know? Because people were like, oh, I'm going to look around. Oh, no, I got to get these exclusives. So, What's my ammo? 19 kilo. It's a tanker. Finish my what do you enlistment, whatever, my time in March of 2001. Got out 6 months early due to a back injury. So I missed 9/11 by that much. I mean, I was here, but I didn't have to go to Iraq or nothing. When I was in, we weren't at war. Crazy, right? It was more like Animal House with guns, weapons. I could have done more mental work, but I thought it'd be fun to do something that wasn't art while I was in the army. Stupid. It's a dumbass. It's froze my ass off. Got real use of the cold though. I like it now, but it took a couple years. Yeah, my art bill. I mean, it only covered me for 36 months. You know, I got $500 a month for 36, so it covered my rent. My tuition was way over that. I mean, had I gone to community college, then it would have helped. The GI Bill didn't help much for profit. I didn't understand the difference between a for profit and a community college or even a university. You know, I just hit a point in my art where I couldn't move any further, and I needed some help, and I didn't get it. I knew what not to do by going to that school, and then I stuck with it for some stupid fucking reason. I don't like quitting. Had to post. Yeah, I felt bad. Yeah, it was weird, man. The whole time I was in, I was always like, man, we can go to war anytime. I mean, we prepared to go into Iraq once when I was in basic, um, but we didn't have to do that. But all the kids coming in on the bus when I was signing my stuff out, they thought I was on the bus with them, you know, and they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going home. And they're like, oh. And I was just looking at them like, man, what if those fucking kids have to go to war, dude? And they did. Sucks. Hmm. Turns out we had like I think there was 3 or 4 casualties from that post during the Iraq conflict. I don't know since then, but there were officers and then one guy I wasn't friends with, but like I knew him. He was in my company. He lived on the same floor, so that was a little. But you know, can happen to anyone, man. We could pull out and be at no war for another. 20 years, you know? I mean, when guys have PTSD, I feel for them, dude, because I saw guys flip out just when we would go down range and be in a box for like 3 weeks. You know, I can't take being in a box. I'm like, dude, you got Pokemate and a Walkman, and it just smells, man, and it's hot or cold, like fucking whatever. You know, you gotta bathe with baby wipes. I mean, things were tightening up when I first got there. Before me, it was even wilder. I was stationed in Germany, and they had, you know, Fraulein's on post, and they had barracks with mud wrestling, chicks wrestling in mud baths. It was crazy, dude. There's a movie called, what's it called? Buffalo Soldiers or something. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, Ed Harris, and Anna Paquin, and they shot it in Vilsec, which wasn't where I was stationed, but I used to go there for gunnery and stuff. So if you want to see, and it's set in the 80s when there was no war going on, and just guys are just trading mop and glow with the fucking Germans, you know. So that was still a lot more like what my time in was. Somewhere between that and Animal House. Like, interesting film. So I spent my entire time when I wasn't, you know, doing army shit, just learning how to draw best I could. Use Photoshop. Paid for that fucking thing. Got the first GeForce card. Alrighty, folks. It is now 10 o'clock. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna enjoy some dessert with my wife, and then I'll be back in about an hour to continue to work on this for about another 3 hours. So I'll be back on in an hour and 10 minutes or so. 11 p.m. PS time, and then I'll be working till 1 a.m., maybe 2. Maybe 2. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish up drawing ToeJam. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the hangouts. Appreciate it. Be sure to check out my store sometimes, folks. If you ever want to get a print or something or a piece of art, it's shopsketchcraft.com. Got some stuff in there now. Got some Battletoads prints, got some physical line arts, and in the future I'll have some commission slots here and there when they're open, but there's some stuff up in there, shopsketchcraft.com. Helps pay for the copy, so appreciate it. See you all in an hour. Peace. Shopsketchcraft.com.